Hey everybody, welcome to day 2 of our mobility series that we're going to walk through. Today is another intro video, but it's addressing a very important part of mobility, and that is self-massage. So you're familiar, you have tightness in your body, you have the knots in your muscles, and those areas that, you know what, we live most of our lives now sitting down. So our hip flexors are very tight, or our shoulders are rounded forward because we're behind the computer, we're driving. And the way that we live our lives creates a lot of muscle tension and tightness in specific areas that we sometimes need to address before going into our mobility exercises. Because that tightness, for example, if we're doing just even some arm circles going around, if we're really, really tight in the chest, we're gonna be limited in our ability to get that full range of motion. So if we can release some of the tissues in the chest muscle, for example, that will give us greater range in the arm circles that we do. So I want you to go through some of these mobility, using some of the tools here, and before you go into some of your mobility exercises, and I'll let you know some of the areas to address. And then that way we'll get a bigger benefit out of the mobility exercises that we do by doing this first. So basically, number one is think about this like massage. If you get a massage therapist and they dig in there really quick into specific areas, you're gonna tighten up and it's gonna be really painful and it's not gonna be a very comfortable experience. It's what you wanna do when you are rolling and doing self-massage is you wanna go slow, right? What slow does is it turns off that kind of defense mechanism of us tightening up. And of course it's still gonna be uncomfortable, but when we go slow, it allows us to both, number one, get deeper into the muscles, and allows us to create a greater separation of the muscle fibers to create a greater effect from this massage. So one of the things, some of the tools, different tools that we can use. Number one, most of you have seen this, whether it's on YouTube or other people, trainers talking about, is a foam roller. Highly recommend everyone gets these. They can be anywhere from $20 to $40. You can buy them at Winners, you can get them at any fitness equipment store. Sport Check will have them there as well. So plenty of things. Starting off, if you've never used one, they have different densities. So they have ones that are much softer, and then this is a medium density foam. So you notice the bumps and the adhesions a little bit more, and then they also have really hard ones as well. So you choose where you're at. I recommend you a little bit softer to start. Then we have a tool like this guy. And this guy allows you to get a little bit more leverage, have a little bit more comfort getting around to the back, and you just push on the end here or just push down, and that creates a lot of pinpoint pressure if there's certain areas of my back that I really want to get to. One really cool thing on this guy has these two knobs, and it gets perfectly right into there at the base of my skull where a lot of tension headaches start. And so people, if you look for that, that's something that you can do to alleviate some tension headaches. Then we also have this guy. It's also called the stick, essentially. And basically what you can do is, I would have my leg straight. I just have it bent so that you can see. But I would roll up and down my leg here to find those spots of tension and roll through that muscle. And again, create that separation of the muscle fibers. Then there's lacrosse balls. Highly, highly recommend you get this or a tennis ball. Tennis ball is gonna be softer. This is gonna allow you to get a little bit deeper into the tissue. And then lastly, these two are very, very similar, but the gap here in the middle is both of these are primarily used on your back and your neck. So this prevents you putting a lot of pressure on the spinal processes, the vertebrae in your back, and it creates that gap so you just get the muscles on either side of the spine. And then you can roll that all the way up along your spine, getting the muscle on either side of the spine. And then you can also kind of use this up in the back of the head here as well and get some different stretches that way. So highly recommend. You don't need all these tools, but if you want some other recommendations and cheaper ways of doing it, you can put 2 tennis balls together, duct tape them together, and then instead of paying 20 or 30 bucks for one of these guys, you got it for like $1, right? So highly recommend it. And really just understanding that if we have tightness, we're not gonna move very well. And we're not gonna necessarily feel activation in certain muscles the way that we should if other muscles are really tight. So making sure that we address these issues. And again, as we address some of this tightness, if we do that before we go into our mobility drills, then we're gonna get a lot more bang for our buck when we do go into them if we're a little bit looser and we've addressed some of those tight areas. So I'll address some of that as we go into our future videos, but hopefully that gives you a better understanding, and that is your mobility video number 2. Highly recommend use these on a daily basis. You'll get the most, again, bang for your buck out of it. And we'll see you in tomorrow's video.